Dame Lillard goes out. He plays 6 minutes last night. It was a weird way that the injury happened, too. It was like he was lunging for a rebound or lunging for a loose ball. Well, yeah, it was
a long rebound that kind of came back out toward him. So, again, he's thinking, okay, going back on defense, but because it's such a long rebound, now all of a sudden he's got a chance to grab it. So you make that sudden jolt to try to, push yourself forward to grab the loose ball. And
that's how those happen, though.
Yep.
Rodgers, same way, quick change of direction. Mm-hmm. Is this the end? It's definitely the end of a chapter.
Well, so
is this the end of the era?
No idea. Absolutely no idea what happens, where they go from here.
Well, Dame, what is it, a year, basically?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, Dame's not playing in 25, 26. If again, so the report from Chris Haynes last night is that it was, he's the one who's always been on top of it, and he has always been very close with Dame. So this information saying that the fear, anytime I see something, the fear is this, to me, Chewy, because I know you've talked about it, and I'm assuming they have something similar for an Achilles, where, the fear's an ACL, because they've got, tests where they're like, yep, that's probably this.
Yeah, you pull the knee, you give it a little pull, see how much resistance there is in the joint.
So I don't know what that is for Achilles, and then you just have the MRI.
It's just mush.
Yeah. Well,
that's what it is.
But there were videos, again, and I always, caution against using the internet doctors, but there actually were doctors on the internet who said you can see the reverb, blah, 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 in the calf.
Very similar to
when
what
it
happened.
happened.
Yeah.
And then he goes down, and then you try to put weight on it, and you can't put weight on it. And so that was the whole thing. We've seen it before, unfortunately. So he goes out. And then the Bucks do their very best to try to figure out how to run the offense without Dame, which they have done recently when he was dealing with the blood clots. They had tried to cobble together a roster, cobble together a lineup that could get the job done. But whoa, was it bad. 129-103 the final. As we mentioned, Dame played those 6 minutes. But beyond Giannis, again, who came just short of a 30-point game. I know there was some record of how many consecutive 30-point games, and certain number of rebounds he had amassed. Came just short of that. Can anyone else show up?
Well, you can't expect Gary Trent Jr. to hit 9 threes every game.
Kevin Porter Jr. had 23 points in the game in 33 minutes. He was a breath of fresh air at times, although the jawing continued in this one, man, the back and forth.
Well, yeah, because the Pacers are the biggest front-running team. They're more front-running than Chewy is. Just they get up, and all of a sudden they just won't shut up. They get down, and they get down on themselves quickly, which has been the issue for the Bucks. They can't start the first quarter fast at all. And then the Pacers just get a little of that jawing going, and that's a lot of momentum.
I get down, and my brain immediately went to tub thumping. But I get up again.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting up from
You're never going to keep me down.
I don't know if I'm getting up from this one.
Even that isn't going to improve my mood this morning. So the Bucks lose, and now are facing an elimination game as the Pacers hold a 3-1 lead. And Chewy, you fast-forwarded to what I was just about to get to, which is, what now? What now? I don't want to be Debbie Downer. I don't think I'm being Debbie Downer. There's a certain realism that has to kick in at some point. There's a certain accepting of reality that has to kick in at some point. And this Bucks team isn't good enough. They're just not.
No.
And let's just say, for goodness sakes, guys, let's just hypothesize for a moment that maybe somehow they figure out a way to beat the Indiana Pacers in this series.
Well, it doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying. You're just prolonging the inevitable, which is this roster isn't good enough to win series in the playoffs. So what now? What happens next? We give ESPN personalities all the grief in the world for consistently and constantly ramming down our throats. Giannis is probably going to leave Milwaukee at the end of this season. I got to be honest with you guys. A first-round playoff exit makes me nervous about that. This isn't drumming up, trying to get people riled up on a Monday morning. This is legitimately how I feel after now this could happen and likely will happen, Gabe, again.
I mean, Brian Windhorst has actually changed his tune, where he has heard the same things, and he has been consistently saying over the last couple of weeks, Giannis has never given any indication that would ever be the case.
Yeah, but if he was going to leave, he's doing it now.
Yeah, but he would have to. Okay, so there's a number of things that factor into this. And the Luka trade, I think, also factors into this. Once upon a time, I felt that if Giannis were ever to ask to leave, he could do it quietly. Just go to management and go, hey, guys, we've had a good run. Just I want to try something different. And I think management and ownership would go, okay, Giannis, we respect you. We'll try to work something out. And he would be able to do that quietly, and I think everybody would kind of be able to see what happened. Well, after the ownership and management took the heat that they did down in Dallas, I don't think Bucks ownership and management wants anything to do with any sort of heat like that if Giannis were to do this quietly. Secondly, do you think that the Haslams just bought into the Bucks to see their evaluation dip down? Because that is what would happen to the Bucks franchise evaluation with no Giannis Antetokounmpo. If Giannis is traded this offseason, ticket sales, the whole 9 yards, everything just dips. And therefore, the evaluation of the franchise would dip. So I don't think the Haslams want a part of that. So that means Giannis would have to do something he is probably very uncomfortable with, and that is force his way out of Milwaukee. Does his personality scream, hey, I'm going to force my way out. I'm not going to show up for things. I'm not going to do this, so you trade me. I would argue it does not. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason to see what happens because, look, the Dame is going to be out for 25-26. He has a player option for 26-27 that's worth $58 million that, and this is a part of the conversation as well, should he decide to play, because I have no idea of a 35, 36-year-old coming off of Achilles surgery if he's going to want to continue to play. But if he does, presumably he would pick up that option because, well, a 35, 36-year-old opting out isn't going to get $58 million. Like there's a lot of, math and gymnastics that you're going to have to do in your mind, but I have no idea where anybody goes from here, if I'm being completely honest.
What would you do, though? Cut him?
Who, Dame?
Yeah.
No, you can't. I mean, you're on the hook. The contract's guaranteed.
Yeah, but so what's next year? He's not playing. They have no chance next year
Correct.
without a Dame-type player
Correct.
to do anything.
Correct.
To do anything. So what do you do?
I don't know. They don't have a lot of assets
You want to talk
left.
about...
It's a bleak situation with Dame going down, Chew. I'm not going to lie. Like, it is bleak, especially for next season.
And it does feel like, guys, I know you guys give me a hard time whenever I use the word snake bitten, but between the Bobby situation late in the season, which I remember you specifically saying, this sucks. Like, you were very like, this sucks. We're trying to build momentum, trying to get this team to gel. Bobby has the suspension. This sucks. So then that happened. And then the Dame Lillard blood clot thing happened. And we were like, what the heck, man? Trying again, get this group back together, build some momentum, build some chemistry. Let them start figuring out their lineups, figuring out what works, how they can beat the teams that are going to be in their way in the postseason. Dame goes out. But then he comes back. And it was like, let's bleep and go. Come on now. We got this. And then for this to happen last night, he played 6 minutes. It was 6 minutes into the game. It just was like, it was the old gut nut punch. It was not one, not the nut punch, not two, not the gut punch, but the nut gut punch where you just are like, I can't breathe. And to Gabe's point, the further down the road you look, the worse it feels. Because with the Bobby Portis suspension, at least there was a light at the end of the tunnel. You knew he was coming back after that stretch. Even with the Dame injury, there were all these reports. He's going to try to play in the postseason. Might not, but he's going to try. And then it was like, oh, he's back. Like, light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see a light at the end of this tunnel. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be exaggerant. I'm not trying to, like, make a mountain out of a molehill. But I woke up this morning with a huge knot of dread in my stomach around the Milwaukee Bucks franchise. Fair or unfair, Gabe?
I think that's fair, just because the future is uncertain. Because once even if you clear that first hurdle of, okay, Giannis isn't going to force his way out of here. Okay. As Chewy pointed out, like, you're still on the hook for Damian Lillard, and without a secondary player, and look, the way NBA teams are having success right now is changing in front of our eyes. Like, you need more than just two really good players. You're seeing that in Los Angeles. You're seeing that in Milwaukee. You're seeing that in Denver. Like, all these really good top five type players need a deeper roster around them than just, here's another really good guy. Like, it's just the NBA and the way teams are being built with the salary cap restrictions and all those sorts of things is drastically changing.
And their trade
Oh, they got
capital
nothing.
Is not there.
There's
nothing.
They got nothing.
There is nothing. So, Gabe, you said it. He's not playing next year, and then the following year, his salary is $58 million.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, no one's going to touch him for $58 million.
Yeah, like he's going to opt in. Is what
you want to be proactive. You don't want to be reactive. Obviously, you got to let the dust settle here, but what the hell do you do?
Yeah, again,
I'm just trying to put myself in Giannis's head because he's a smart guy, and he's sitting there thinking the same thing. He's like, kind of screwed if I want to win a championship. Yeah, this is not good, Bob. This is what Mondays shouldn't feel like.
This is what you say Mondays always feel like.
Not this bad.
Bleeping Garfield over here trying to lecture me about Mondays.
You guys have mentioned that they really don't have any trade bait. Could they get anything for Bobby Portis? Could they get anything for Pat Connaughton? Again, no. Listen, I know the answer. I'm just trying to is there?
Bobby has some trade value. Like you could maybe get something, but I don't. Are you going to
not enough to win a championship?
You're going to get something similar to Bobby, but it's just going to be different, right? Like nobody's going to go, oh, here's a first-round pick for Bobby Portis.
And is Brook Lopez done after 2025?
He is. He is a free
season?
agent at the end of this season. So they've got to make a decision. He's got to make a decision if he wants to continue to play. But he is a straight up a free agent. No options, no anything.
The problem again is, guys, from a emotional roller coaster standpoint, which seems like exactly what we are on here as Bucks fans. They won that game this weekend, man. I was hoping I was hoping we were going to come in this morning talking about back-to-back home wins for the Bucks. Made this sucker a series. Now you got to go on the road and grab one, and it just feels. As high as it felt when they won that game at Fiserv, and we talked about how the fans needed to come, make it rowdy. Bucks dominated in that game. This is just the opposite end of that spectrum from the emotional roller coaster standpoint.
What wasn't the blood clot in his calf?
Yeah, but his other calf.
His other calf?
Yeah. So completely unrelated.
So no issues, no nothing, no sore Achilles. This just came out of left field.
Yep. But that's what happens with Achilles, right? Like you played on a team where Edgar Bennett did it, and that just kind of came out of nowhere. Aaron Rodgers, no issues when he did it, kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of times, not everybody is Kevin Durant a handful of years ago when he was still with the Warriors and he had the calf issue and tried to play through it and tore the Achilles. I feel like more often than not, just kind of you have that quick, sudden movement for whatever reason, and it just.
And that's probably worse than an ACL for a basketball player, I would assume.
Yeah, that's. Again, you want to start diving into that. A 36-year-old coming off of that, maybe a 36-year-old. If you want to take a look at what Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers looked like trying to move around at different times last year, and you need more of that agility, especially at the position he plays.
Yeah, more basketball. Yeah.
So I want to throw this out there, and I want to be very careful. I'm going to do one of those things where I say something and I duck. Okay, so these computer screens are going to protect me from whatever projectiles people want to throw at me. Are we ready for this?
Throw?
Are you ready?
I'm going to have to settle for this can of Spindrift, Jen, so I hope you can duck quickly.
Given everything that has transpired, is the Damian Lillard trade officially a failure?
Yes. Brought him into didn't even come close.
Sure.
It's not his fault.
You got two games. You got 2 games of Dame and Giannis out of it. You got 2 games out of Dame and Giannis out of it. But if Drew Holiday's here instead, it's not like it's better.
Chew, what do you think?
It's just didn't work out. They didn't even make it to Eastern Conference Finals with him, right? They won 1 playoff series. Or did they?
Not even that.
They didn't win that. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. The Shartenfarter comes out in me sometimes. Huh? What do you say, Jen?
So I'm working through in my brain. I'm doing the old, and I keep trying to push it through the Giannis draft or Giannis position of failure or success. Right? There's no failure, Giannis says. This feels like an epic failure. Now, I'm not sitting here and blaming the Bucks for the way that circumstances shook out. Things happen, right? Bleep happens. But at the end of the day, you brought Dame in, as you said, to get you 1 step closer to a championship, and it didn't get you any steps closer to a championship. Guy was dealing with some personal stuff, obviously. Don't fault him for that. Guy dealt with injury. I don't fault him for that. Guy obviously is dealing with another injury. I don't fault the player for that. I don't really even fault the general manager and the front office for it. But when it comes down to it and we start keeping score, this was a massive miss.
But I think
I'd do it again.
I was just going to say, I bet 90% of the GMs in this league do the deal. Anyone would have done the deal, correct?
Yeah, I'd do the deal again. Mm-hmm.
Just didn't work out. You know?
Because if you stay put and it's Drew Holiday here, again, you don't even have, I don't think you have much hope. Because it's just different, right? Like, they needed a change. They needed somebody like Dame, and they were able to go out and get Dame. I would do the deal again.